From the most watched television station in the Arklatex, this is KSLA News 12 at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Carl Pendley.
And I'm Karin Adams. Just ahead on KSLA News 12 at 5, a Republican challenger to George Bush was in town today with a surprising message for the president.
A Shreveport jury wastes no time at all finding Percy Davis guilty of 2 convenience store murders.
And it's acts like those, acts of violence, that prompts a campaign to stop the killing. Those stories and much more coming up in just a moment. First, let's check in right now with Mike Pass, who's going to give us a weather update, because we have had not only a lot of rain today, but you say more ahead.
There is more coming our way. Let's go to the Shreveport radar right now, and you can see where the big rain area has shifted into the eastern half of the Arklatex, and there's not much going on in the western half of the area, but out toward the Dallas and Fort Worth area and down toward Waco, there are new severe thunderstorms developing that will be heading our way later on this evening and into tonight. And there are tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches out to our west. So that's where the real action has shifted off to the west, and it's incoming. And I'll have all of that for you in an update in a few more minutes.
Okay, we look forward to that. Thank you very much, Mike. Will someone other than President George Bush represent Republicans for president this year?
Well, one of his challengers, a former TV commentator, said in Shreveport today that he hopes Bush will not represent the party. He hopes he will. Republican Pat Buchanan spent part of today campaigning for next Tuesday's primary. And political reporter Rich Masters joins us now to let us know how Buchanan put that message out.
Well, it's amazing how politicians can turn losses into victories. You know, last night President George Bush beat Pat Buchanan by 13%. Today Buchanan called it a victory, and he advised George Bush to withdraw from the race. Now, the conservative commentator told a breakfast gathering of supporters he's not out to destroy Bush, but to win the race. Many of the people in the audience worked with the David Duke campaign last fall. Buchanan knows Duke is strong in the state, but says Buchanan, is the only alternative to George Bush.
There are only 2 people in it. They're going to get that nomination. That's Pat Buchanan and George Bush. And anything else is irrelevant to that contest. And my opponent in this race is George Bush. If the folks of Louisiana want to cast a protest vote, they ought to cast one for a man that can not only protest against Mr. Bush, that can actually beat him.
Now, from here, Pat Buchanan went on to Baton Rouge and Lafayette. He's making a swing through the state of Louisiana. Keep in mind that next Tuesday is Super Tuesday. Texas and Louisiana, Carl and Karen, will be in the Super Tuesday balloting, and Buchanan needs a win. He even admits that you know, he can't possibly do it without winning one of these. That a silver medal in every one of these races will about only get him a ticket into the convention is about it. Yeah.
With GOP State Chairman Billy Nungesser supporting Pat Buchanan, what really would something like that do for Buchanan's support? And is George Bush in any danger here in Louisiana?
Well, it gives him some kind of party organization within he can move. But the problem with it is that political insiders know and have long guessed that there's a grudge match going on between Billy Nungesser and the president because of the Buddy Roemer thing, and there's a lot of personal animosity right now between the two, and I think at this point it was a payback time. Nungesser trying to pay back the president, and I don't necessarily know if it'll translate into any votes for him here, but the president is probably in as much trouble here as he is anywhere else across the country when the negative numbers coming out 32%, none of the above got 30% in South Dakota. That's pretty significant for a standing president, and as Pat Buchanan said today, a TV columnist, journalist can come in and get 30% of the vote in 12 weeks of campaigning. The president's in serious trouble.
Well, it all cranks up again tomorrow, Rich, with some other campaigning from other campaigns.
Barbara Bush, Hillary Clinton, and then we'll be down in Baton Rouge with President Bush on Friday.
We'll look forward to hearing from you again.
You bet.
Thanks.
Sure.
Just one day after the latest round of presidential primaries, the candidates have adjusted their campaign focuses. Back on the campaign trail they went.
This time they're targeting the Super Tuesday states, among them, as Rich said, Texas and Louisiana. They're also taking stock of where they stand with the voters so far.
We have an update on how they stand from Linda Tyra.
Acknowledging the strength of the protest vote against him, President Bush sank his teeth today into more campaigning. This time in Florida, one of the richest delegate prizes in next week's Super Tuesday races.
I will do my level best. I will continue to try my hardest in tough times, and I will continue to lead the greatest, freest nation on the face of the earth, but I need your support on Tuesday, and I'll need it again in November.
Also in the South, Patrick Buchanan moving his troops to Louisiana, another Super Tuesday state. Buchanan won at least a third of the vote last night in Colorado, Georgia, and Maryland, and today brashly called on Mr. Bush to drop out of the race.
Last night, really our campaign came of age. We've only been alive as a campaign, a national campaign, for 12 weeks. 12 weeks ago, December 10th, yesterday, we didn't even exist.
Among the Democrats, Bill Clinton today seemed energized by his win in Georgia, hoping it will propel him to other victories in the South.
Florida's important. Florida's a big state. It's a diverse state, and there are a lot of different kind of voters here. If I can get the message out here, I believe I can win, and I'm working hard at it.
And working equally hard, Paul Sonkus, touring a plant in South Carolina, in his own steely determination to make this a two-man race between himself and Clinton.
Let me tell you, by the time Pat Buchanan finishes with George Bush, he will look forward to the campaign against one of us.
But a third Democrat, Jerry Brown, vows to stay in the race by virtue of his surprise victory in Colorado yesterday. Meanwhile, a disappointed Bob Kerrey returned to Washington to reassess his campaign. He was the only major Democrat who failed to win even one state in yesterday's caucuses and primaries. Linda Tyra, CBS News, New York.
Back on the local scene, a Caddo Parish jury found Percy Davis guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder today, and it took that jury only 26 minutes to reach its decision. And it doesn't end there. Now the sentencing phase of that trial begins. The jury must now decide whether to recommend life in prison without parole, probation, or suspension of sentence, or they can recommend the death penalty. The jury there, as you see, leaving during one of the recesses in that trial earlier this week. Now, a member of one of Davis's victims already knows what he hopes the jury will do.
Well, I think if he doesn't deserve the death penalty, who does? I mean, what do you have to do to get the death penalty? I mean, I can live with whatever happens, because no matter what they do to him, it's not going to bring my brother back.
Defense attorneys say that they will put Percy Davis on the stand in their argument to save his life. They will also show how cocaine changed his behavior. We will have more on the verdict and what faces the jury still coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
In light of the recent string of violent crime in this area, the Shreveport and Bossier chapters of the NAACP joined forces today to kick off a campaign called Stop the Killing. It's aimed at heightening awareness about the drastic number of murders here. And officials are also hoping the campaign serves as a reminder of the family members who remain victimized long after the violent crime occurs.
We want our citizens to know that they can take positive steps to reduce these acts of violence by better understanding what happened to the individuals that commit such crimes and to the horrible effects that that act have on the survivors.
Billboards about the new campaign go up in the Shreveport-Bossier area tomorrow. A big rally to kick off the Stop the Killing campaign will be held Thursday night in Shreveport. A group of Shreveport ministers wants to stop the killing through Jesus. Today, that group spread the good word at the Shreveport City Jail. These are actually ministers in training with the Church of God in Christ in Shreveport. Part of their lesson is to teach others about Christ, not only those people who come to church every Sunday, but also those behind bars.
An investigation into the conduct of a patrol officer in the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department and a patrol supervisor has ended with the termination of the officer. Police Chief Bob Harrison says Officer Laura Green was fired for falsifying reports and for being off her beat without permission. The supervisor in question, Lieutenant Jerry Brown, was suspended for 2 days without pay. According to investigators, he met with Green while she was on duty. Now, Harrison was careful to stress that the disciplinary actions were not because of any alleged relationship, but simply for the specific violations. An experiment in racial harmony well underway in Shreveport. Maddie Wilson, a student at LSU in Shreveport, is hosting another student. Now, this isn't a foreign exchange student. It's someone from right here in Shreveport. His name, Kerry Johnston. Together, Kerry and Maddie have become a family of sorts for this semester. It's all part of a biracial exchange program. It's the brainchild of one of their professors.
The black families and white families can learn a lot from each other.
Professor Dolch ultimately hopes to see many students from a lot of different socioeconomic backgrounds taking part in this exchange. But for now, Maddie and Kerry are reaching just about the halfway point. We will keep you updated on their progress, and be sure to tune in to KSLA News 12 at 6 o'clock for more details, more particulars about this biracial exchange.
With less than 1 week until the Texas primary, 2 candidates vying for spots on the Railroad Commission made stops in Texarkana today. Democratic incumbent Lena Guerrero is trying to keep the commissioner's job that she was appointed to last year by Governor Ann Richards. If elected, Guerrero says she will continue her efforts to develop a comprehensive energy plan and find new markets for fuel to stimulate the economic recovery of Texas. Republican candidate Carol Rylander was also in town today and said, as Railroad Commissioner, her main priority would be trucking deregulation. The Texas Railroad Commission regulates the energy transportation industry within the state. A couple of early morning motorists must feel very lucky that they were able to walk away from a chain reaction accident on Interstate 20 that left this 18-wheeler stranded in someone's backyard. George Brown was headed west on Interstate 20 when his rig hit a Blazer while trying to make a lane change. The Blazer spun around and crashed into a pickup truck, and the 18-wheeler jackknifed and ended up in someone's garden. Police charged Brown with improper lane usage. He had minor injuries, but no one else was hurt.
Well, it's over. The crews of Gemini and crew of Asclepius ended the Mardi Gras in the Arklatex celebration officially last night, or this morning at midnight. They hope this tradition, though, will grow in Northwest Louisiana, and we see how from Jennifer Hodges.
The Mardi Gras season came to a close, but not without a lot of fanfare. At midnight, the king and queen of the crews of Gemini and Asclepius met on the Texas Street Bridge overlooking the Red for a final toast to the carnival season.
We meet in the middle, neither in Shreveport nor in Bossier, symbolic of the fact that we belong to neither, but represent the hopes and the dreams and the future of both.
Mardi Gras marks the end of the carnival season and the beginning of Lent. The symbolism of the two kings meeting to end the celebration dates back to 1882, when Rex and Comus began the tradition in New Orleans. The crews of Gemini and Asclepius want to bring that tradition to the Arklatex.
I'm from South Louisiana originally, and I feel like we brought a little piece of home with us up here. So it's been beautiful. To the carnival season of 1992, may we all enjoy the Lenten season.
In the Arklatex, Jennifer Hodges, KSLA News 12.
Well, it didn't rain on that part of the parade either, Mike, but boy, it came down like cats and dogs today.
Came down today. Some days, some areas, just since 7 o'clock this morning, have had 3 inches of rain, and there's more on the way coming from central and northern Texas. We'll look at all of that and all the watches and warnings and so on in just a minute. Right now, we've got a weather school question to look at. Most weather radars, and I guess it's a timely one, most weather radars in use today are designed to accurately depict A, tornadoes, B, hail, C, high winds, or D, rainfall. Most weather radars in use today. What do you think? Well, I'll have the right answer at 6 o'clock. We've got a forecast, including a look at all of those watches when we come back. Stay here.
Tonight's Weather School is being brought to you by iMasters and Whataburger.
No place hops like Sonic.
Gee, I'm really ready for something different. I think I'll have...
We always have steak and taters, right, Pop?
Yeah, a chicken fried steak sandwich.
Taters. Don't forget tater tots, Pop.
Hey, what a great idea. Steak and taters, only $2.49.
Here's your steak and taters, Mr. Avalon.
Now, Pa, settle down.
No place hops like Sonic.
Campbell's Marine presents Mastercraft, the professional's choice. It takes a great ski boat for you to ski your best. If you need room for the family or just to spread out, Mastercraft's answer is the new ProStar 205 and the new Pro Sport 205. These boats are the perfect union of family cruising and performance skiing, with the room of a bow rider and the performance and handling of a tournament ski boat. Mastercraft, available now at Campbell's Marine, downtown Shreveport. Call 221-7777.
Well, up until 5 o'clock this evening, we had a tornado watch that did cover a small part of the southeastern Arklatex. That one expired at 5 o'clock. Now until 10 p.m., we do have a tornado watch in effect, but that just barely doesn't get into the Arklatex. It's just west of Lufkin, and as you can see, covers most of central Texas. We do have severe thunderstorm watches. Now, these are severe thunderstorm in orange. Severe thunderstorm watches until 10 o'clock for much of eastern Oklahoma, north central Texas. This is to the west of a Mount Vernon Tyler line. So again, that's just the extreme western edge of the Arklatex out there, and until 7 p.m. another severe thunderstorm watch further west. Bad news is about all of this that obviously some of this is going to drift eastward and come our way a little bit later, and I would not be surprised to at least see us under more watches through the night hours. We are also under flash flood watches, and these come closer to home. Southwest Arkansas from El Dorado through Magnolia and Texarkana and across all of East Texas once again for tonight under flash flood watches. I've had reports just since 7 o'clock this morning. Carol Tipton in Panola, Texas called in, said he had 3 inches of rain in Panola, and have had reports up in Vivian, Louisiana. J.W. Alexander has had over 2.5 inches of rain counting yesterday and today. Been some big rain amounts officially in Shreveport. We're still only at about 1.25 inches, but there is more rain on the way. And here it is on Shreveport radar right now. There's a big patch of rain off to the east. Now this was moving along eastward at a pretty good clip and looked like it would get out of the picture, but it is kind of stalled over the eastern half of the Arklatex, and that means some tremendous rainfall amounts may occur between Minden and Ruston and Monroe, and points down toward Natchitoches, because this is all feeding up from the south, from the Houston and Beaumont, Port Arthur area. The tremendous storms that they've had during the day that have produced severe thunderstorms down in the Houston area, even reports of tornadoes down there. That moisture is feeding up into the system. Now, while I don't expect tornadoes with this widespread an area of rain, flash flooding is possible. Heavy rain is the main threat with this because the area has stalled out and isn't moving much further eastward. Now let's go to the Longview radar, and this is on the long range of the Longview radar. Here's that big area of rain in the eastern part of the Arklatex. Here's Shreveport. Now this is just ground clutter. There's nothing going on over in Longview right now in terms of rain. But out here in central Texas, extending from just northwest of Austin right up into the Fort Worth area, there's a new line of thunderstorms developing out there, and some of those are already severe. Again, the tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches, and lots of warnings being issued now, even close to Waco, with some of those new thunderstorms that will be coming our way later. Right now in Shreveport, we have cloudy skies. That rain that you see in the background has finally quit. 61 degrees, 84% humidity, west winds at 17, barometers falling at 29.76. And a loop of the satellite picture shows the incredibly wound up upper low up toward the northwest part of the Texas Panhandle around Dalhart, and the big thunderstorms coming our way. But check that new development out there in central Texas. Here's my 3-day forecast. Starting with tomorrow, look for partly cloudy skies. That also means partly sunny with a low of 55 and a high of 75 degrees. There is a 30% chance for a few thunderstorms tomorrow, although they should be the scattered variety. Friday, partly sunny with no chance for any precipitation. 52 the low, 79 the high. Saturday, partly cloudy. Again, a 30% chance of rain coming back with a high of 78. And for Sunday and Monday, it looks like those rain chances will go up a little bit as we head into early next week, and there might even be some colder air heading down, maybe a freeze possible toward the middle of next week, but that's a long way off. I'll be around here this evening to keep you updated on any changes.
Thank you, Mike. Coming up next in our health care report.
Diets, of course, are no fun, but there is still a way to enjoy a big old fat sandwich without feeling guilty or worrying too much. We'll tell you how next.
From your Project Pride station, you're watching KSLA News 12, building pride in the Arklatex.
Presenting the shrimp platters.
Let's go to churches. Let's go. 'Cause they got a lot of what I like.
Something big is happening at churches. It's the shrimp platter. 12 delicious shrimp, cocktail sauce, coleslaw, and golden fries, all for $2.99. Church's shrimp platter for $2.99. It's going to knock you off your feet.
Let's go to churches. Let's go. 'Cause they got a lot of what I like.
For the best deal on a new boat, make the drive to Vivian Marine during our in-store boat show going on now. Make your selection from over 70 boats on display in our indoor showroom. Choose a 15-foot Aluma-Weld, all-welded fishing boat, or a 15.5-foot VIP fiberglass boat, both lake-ready starting at $59.95. Vivian Marine is your headquarters for quality boats and motors, so drive to the country and save during Vivian Marine's in-store boat show. Vivian Marine, open 7 days a week. When you don't feel well, you need someone you can trust, someone who cares to take the time to carefully evaluate your problem. Dr. Sino and her staff at Chiropractic Health Center focus on the overall health care of their patients. Modern chiropractic care, along with active physical rehabilitation, offers help from accident recovery as well as other spinal-related conditions.
Our approach at Chiropractic Health Center is to take care of the whole person and not just the condition.
Chiropractic Health Center on Jewella across from South Park Mall.
Our healthcare report today details a battle that a lot of us fight every day.
The battle of the bulge, or staying on a diet. The enemy, everything we like to eat but can't. Some creative bakers in Oregon have come up with a secret weapon.
That weapon, healthy bread that works great with any diet.
6 slices a day will help slice the weight away. At least that's what the bakers of diet bread say.
Fills you up, cleans you out, helps you lose weight.
The 8 grains in diet bread make a high-fiber, high-protein food. It has no added sugar and helps you burn off calories quickly. From soy flour to wheat germ, it's mixed into a big bread vitamin. Bill and Linda Newworth whipped up the recipe a couple of years ago for their diet.
My wife uses this. She stays nice and pretty and trim with it, so.
But both of them have perfected a formula of eating it before meals, so they don't nibble on sweet things.
I use the bread to fill me up.
I get up at 2 in the morning.
I'll have 2 slices in the morning.
It'll keep me full till noon. I usually don't eat from 2 till noon. It's when I get done working.
But it comes with a warning.
If you don't drink enough water, it might tend to plug you up, so to speak.
Because it's so dense, the bread itself doesn't rise much, but sales are rising and the dough is rolling in. In the last half year, the Newworths have put advertisements in 2 national magazines, Women's Day and the Vegetarian Times, and since then, their diet bread sales have doubled. It costs $2.50 a loaf if you buy it in Southern Oregon, double that if you order from out of town. And ordering it from out of town, they are, with requests coming in from all over the country. It seems the tiny Jacksonville Bakery has become the bread and butter, or maybe just the bread, of diets everywhere. In Jacksonville, Oregon, this is Sharon Chin for CBS News.
When we come back, a check of world and national events.
And Bob Griffin has the shady side of basketball.
An event of no importance to anyone, the bloopers.
KSLA News 12 is brought to you in part by your local Midas Muffler and Brake Shops.
What do you get in Midas's $59 or $79 basic brake service? Great value and a job done right. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Taking some work home with you?
You know, I'm in the paper business.
Newspaper?
Toilet paper. I make White Cloud. Oh, sorry. Don't be.
Hey, your White Cloud's really soft.
Oh, well, not to brag, but White Cloud is softer and thicker than even the leading bathroom tissue.
I've been looking for bathroom tissue this soft and thick.
Funny how things just kind of fall in your lap.
And with new White Cloud Jumbo Rolls, you get 50% more sheets, so you don't have to change the roll as often. White Cloud. Only clouds make it softer and thicker.
A few good reasons to put DuPont certified weatherfront siding on your home today.
Come rain or come shine.
DuPont certified weatherfront home siding. It's what you should put on your house today if you want it to look this good tomorrow.
Come rain or come shine.
Call Southern Siding, 221-6666.
So many families love the taste of Quaker Oat squares. Some flakes are going overboard.
You really think you need a raft?
What else can I do? Flakes get soggy in milk.
Gee, I don't.
Well, of course not. You're a Quaker Oat square.
You're toasted whole grain oats.
You're
sprinkled with brown sugar.
You're
made to stay crunchy in milk.
And you're
what?
Making me very nervous.
Quaker Oat squares. You'll love them
from square one.
Quickly checking news from outside the Arklatex.
As many as 300 Turkish miners are feared still trapped in a Turkish coal mine following an explosion and a flash fire. 78 miners died in that blast, and the extreme heat from that fire has hampered all efforts to free those still trapped 1,700 feet below the surface. A buildup of methane gas apparently touched off that explosion and the fire. Turkish mine officials say that an early warning system designed to prevent just this kind of disaster failed. Back in this country, a jury in Alexandria, Virginia has convicted the so-called sperm doctor of 52 counts of fraud and perjury. It took those jurors quite a while to reach their decision. They deliberated for 17 hours over the past 4 days before deciding that Dr. Cecil Jacobson was guilty on all counts. Now, Dr. Jacobson was accused of using his own sperm to artificially inseminate women and then telling them he used semen from others who matched their husband's characteristics. The doctor also used hormone injections to trick women into thinking they were pregnant when in fact they were not. No delicate way to transition between that kind of story and sports. We'll just shift gears real hard. Bob, what's up?
Well, we are gonna talk about the bloopers in a minute and the terrible way they played as usual. But first of all, a little bit of really bad news for Bo Jackson fans, because I think I may have been expecting a hair more. Now, that was a comment by the Chicago White Sox trainer today after Bo Jackson got his first base hit of spring training and tried to run to first. It turned into an awkward trot with his left leg kicking out to the side in an odd motion. Now, Jackson is trying to make a comeback from that hip injury. He said it was no big deal, that he just coasted to first base. Let's hope he's right. Well, with the Southwest Conference basketball tournament in Dallas just around the corner, only 8,000 tickets have been sold. Now, in years past, Arkansas fans by themselves have purchased 7,000 to 9,000 tickets. And our congrats to Airline and Booker T. They'll meet in the 5A finals of the girls' Sweet 16 state basketball tournament Friday at Alexandria at 6. A look at Airline. At 10, a look at the Lady Lions. And also at 6 tonight, Barry's report on that game they'll be talking about for a long time to come. The Razorbacks' overtime victory over LSU at Fayetteville last night. And now, for a change of pace, let's check out what happened at Cotton Valley last night when the KSLA Bloopers rolled into town to play the Cotton Valley High School faculty. Now, the mismatch with a big crowd on hand was sponsored by the Cotton Valley Athletic Booster Club. And as you can see, Carl and Carol immediately, Cotton Valley let them know they were in for a toughie. But the guys, now watch this show off, this showboat. Merv, like this, he rolls it down the back, over to Skip. Skip gives it to Masters, and Masters puts it in for a hot dog shot, but 2 points. They never did tell me who really won the game last night. Here's Skip throwing to Mary. Mary's a ringer, but watch this now. She makes the point. No, maybe, was that Tony that made that?
No way. He's just taking the credit.
For me, Bobby, I guess maybe he did make it. I think he did make it. And watch this, Fred Gamble out of Texarkana. Cool, baby, 3 points. The big thing is they had a good time, and I understand from those concerned that know that they raised about, get it, Skip, right like the weather, right on the button. They say that they raised about $1,000, had a good time.
No
the
kidding.
Crowd had a good time, and well, what can you say about the bloopers? Just, they're there.
They are there, but they do very good things for a lot of charities. And that's
I said that once this week. I'm not going to say 2 good things about them in 1 week.
I'll pick it up from there. Thanks, Bob. Back in a moment.
Do you have to take your clothes off today to get a job?
They're paid to work nude.
Since the beginning of advertising, sex and women sell the product. What I do is fun.
Watch them undress for success.
If I take my clothes off right now and going down to this underwear, will you take me seriously as a talk show host?
No, I'd hire you to complete my hair.
You won't believe your eyes.
If you've got it, use it.
The next Montel Williams Show.
The hottest new talk show, tonight at 11:30.
Are you unemployed, untrained, out of work? The Shreveport-Bossier Regional Technical Institute can get you started on the road to success. We offer a choice from 21 different specialized programs taught by certified instructors in a state-operated school. And we're ready to help with financial assistance to those who qualify. Unemployment and lack of funds are no longer obstacles to your success. Get the training you need for the career of your choice. Call the Shreveport-Bossier Regional Technical Institute for more details. If you love to hunt or fish, then climb aboard a Bobcat boat. Designed by Louisiana fishermen, the Bobcat's unique hull design lets you maneuver with ease and precision through weeds, mossy shallows, even stumps. The Bobcat's lightweight, strong, and stable, and the foot control steering allows easy gun or rod handling. 1- or 2-man models are available in almost any color, and you can select the items you want from a long list of options. Get where you want to go in a Bobcat boat. Bobcat Boats, 15 miles south of Shreveport in Gloucester, Louisiana.
Sealing
and Serta, two of the best names in bedding, are teaming up with Ivan Smith Furniture and Appliance, the Arklatek's largest furniture and appliance chain, to bring you the best values in bedding. Sealy's Perfect Comfort at only $149 for full size, and Serta's Perfect Sleeper with a 15-year warranty is only $199 for full size. Now you can choose the perfect mattress for you at Ivan Smith Furniture and Appliance stores. The perfect place at the perfect price with warm, friendly service and fast, free delivery. That's Ivan Smith, what a furniture store ought to be.
Let's hear from Mike Pass again.
Right now, there are no warnings in effect for the Arklatek's. I'll be back at 6 with a complete update.
All right.
And Bob with LSU Arkansas highlights at 6. CBS Evening News with Ann Rather right now. We'll see you in half an hour.
Good night.
Good night.
KSLA TV is an equal opportunity employer. It is the policy of this station not to discriminate in employment and personnel practices because of a person's race, creed, sex, or age.
It fills me up. I like the price. I like the taste of the food.
I think the hamburgers are great. For the $1.99 special, you get a super deal in getting a Coke, French fries, and a hamburger.
You come here, it is a short stop.
I say 30, 60 seconds. Usually when I drive through Short Stop, I've got my food within 30, 45 seconds.
We're your Project Pride station, KSLA 12. From the most watched television station in the Arklatek's, this is KSLA News 12 at 6.
The jury has convicted Percy Davis of 2 first-degree murders. Will he get life in prison or death?
A Stop the Killing campaign begins to stop murder in Shreveport-Bossier.
And we'll show you an exchange program of a different kind. Good evening, I'm Karin Adams.
And I'm Carl Pendley. We'll have those stories in just a moment. First up top tonight, the trial.
A Caddo Parish jury reached a dramatic decision before noon today. It still has one dramatic decision hanging over its head.
That jury found 23-year-old Percy Davis guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, and now the jurors must decide his penalty. Our Mimi Page was in the courtroom today. Joins us now. Mimi, that first decision, the guilty verdict, came remarkably quickly.
Yes, it did, Carl and Karen. It took the jury only 26 minutes to decide that Percy Davis was guilty of first-degree murder. Now they must decide whether to recommend the death penalty or life in prison. I talked with a family member of one of the victims this afternoon. He had no doubt as to what sentence he thought Davis should get.
Well, I think if he doesn't deserve the death penalty, who does? I mean, what do you have to do to get the death penalty? I mean, I can live with whatever happens, because no matter what they do to him, it's not going to bring my brother back.
Now, the district attorney is asking for the death penalty, and towards that end today, prosecutors brought a man named Johnny Hall to the stand. Hall was a clerk at Fats Exxon back in 1990. He says about an hour and a half after Davis killed the clerk at Circle K, he came down the street and robbed that Fats Exxon. In the process, he shot Hall. Hall says after shooting him, Davis jumped up onto the counter and said, "You blanked up, remember my face, I'll shoot you again." That took place 2 nights before Davis returned to that same Fats Exxon and shot Calvin Moore to death. Now, in the sentencing phase, defense attorneys say they will show how Davis's behavior changed after he became addicted to cocaine. And Carl and Karen, Davis himself is expected to take the stand.
Mimi, if he gets life in prison, how long before parole?
Well, in this case, Karen, there would be no chance of parole, probation, or any suspension of the sentence.
Any idea how long it's going to take this penalty phase?
Well, probably longer than the verdict phase took. The jury could start deliberating by tomorrow.
Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you. The rash of violent crime in this area over the past few months has prompted the NAACP to speak out today. For the first time in its history, the Shreveport and Bossier chapters of the NAACP joined forces to stop the killing. That's the name of a new campaign the organization kicked off today at a Shreveport news conference.
The NAACP has always been an organization committed to the betterment of human beings. Through this program, we want to re-emphasize the unity, the togetherness, and our efforts to resolve problems that plague our communities and our citizens.
The police chiefs, mayors, and sheriffs in this area are taking part in the Stop the Killing campaign also. A big rally to kick off that campaign will be held tomorrow night at the Calvary Baptist Church in Shreveport.
A lot of people believe that Jesus is the best way to stop not only the killing, but all other types of crime. Today, some ministers in training took that message to the people behind bars at the Shreveport City Jail. The group is from the from the Church of God in Christ. Part of learning to become a minister is teaching even those who have strayed from the law.
So therefore, the church must not only reach out to those who are outside, but we must reach to those who are behind the bars, because we believe that the church has a message of deliverance that will help those to find their way who have lost it.
Now, Winbush believes that for some criminals, jail is the only answer, but he also says that many others can be turned around.
The search is on tonight for a missing girl from Bossier City. 12 years old, she was last seen leaving her home on Barksdale Air Force Base yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock. She was on her way to visit friends. Melody Scott is a student at Russian Junior High. She lives on the base with her family. Her father, Master Sergeant Craig Scott, says she was last seen wearing the blue jean jacket she has on in this picture. If you have seen Melody, please call Barksdale Base Security. The number is 456-2551, or you can call the Bossier City Police Detectives, 741-8662. Barksdale officials have not been able to determine the exact nature of Ms. Scott's disappearance.
We've all heard of cultural exchange programs, the ones where a foreign student comes to the United States to live for a while and to learn. But what about a racial exchange between blacks and whites right here in Shreveport? Robert Thompson has the story of the newest attempt to break racial barriers in the Arklatex.
Maddie Wilson is a social work major at LSU-Shreveport. She's married with 2 young children. Kerry Johnston is Maddie's classmate. He's young, single, and very individual. Together, they're part of a black and white experiment.
What I wanted to do was create a situation where our students could begin to really gain some insight into the everyday life of minorities and blacks in particular.
So Dr. Dolch took these 2 very different students out of this classroom and put them together to live with each other and learn from each other for a semester.
I got this question the other day. Somebody asked how my living situation was going. I was like, fine, why? And they said, has anybody tried to sell you some crack?
Kerry says he ignores those questions, just like he ignores Maddie's comments about his cooking or his music.
He doesn't clean up his room, he doesn't pick up after himself. What he pulls off on Monday, he picks up on Friday.
So far, Maddie and Kerry's home life has been colorblind. They say they feel like a family, but they also know they have 6 more weeks and a lot more to learn.
We can eat together. We can live together. So surely if we can do these things together, we can live under the same roof and not have problems. Surely we can work together.
Robert Thompson, KSLA News 12.
This biracial exchange may be the first of its kind in this part of the country. Robert will follow Maddie and Kerry through their experience and let us know how they're doing and what they're learning in the weeks to come. Up next in this newscast, the fight to win Super Tuesday in Louisiana.
Presidential candidate Pat Buchanan campaigns in Shreveport. More.
From your Project Pride station, you're watching KSLA News 12, building pride in the Arklatex.
The Furniture Market comes to Shreveport this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Furniture Market at 1909 North Market opens with all the latest styles and fashions from famous name-brand furniture makers like Lane, Sealy, Bassett, Riverside, and Oak Crown. The Furniture Market has appliances by GE, RCA, Magnavox, and many others, and the Furniture Market has on-site financing and free delivery. Don't miss the all-new Furniture Markets opening to the public this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're at 1909 North Market in Shreveport.
We're having a dilemma here. Fred is having a little trouble deciding which new Chevy best suits our lifestyle.
We can lease this loaded 4-door Lumina for only $269 a month, or this loaded 4-door S10 Blazer for just $329 a month. I think Fred is leaning towards the brawny S10 Blazer. And yes, we are leasing. Leasing gives us full warranty, options galore, and low payments. And all we need up front is a small refundable deposit and the first payment. It's just smart.
For a smart deal on a new Chevy, see your Chevy Geo dealer.
Light. It is the first element of creation. Nothing brings it more elegantly or shapes it more beautifully than Andersen windows and patio doors. Come, live in the light of Andersen windows. Come home to Andersen.
Last night, Republican presidential candidate Pat Buchanan got only 37% of the GOP votes cast in Georgia.
This morning in Shreveport, he claimed a moral victory. Our political reporter Rich Masters was with him.
Even though George Bush beat him by 13%, conservative Pat Buchanan called himself a winner this morning as he came to the KSLA studios for a CNN interview.
That was a tremendous victory we had in Georgia. It established the fact that the Buchanan campaign is not simply a single state campaign, but it's a national campaign.
From our studios, the candidate was off to a downtown Holiday Inn breakfast gathering in his honor. Many of those in the crowd were familiar faces. Most of David Duke's campaign organization locally showed up to support Buchanan, a candidate who sounds a lot like Duke without his past. Today he dismissed Duke as a candidate and told George Bush to get out of the race.
Can we put the other thing in here? Yes, you can.
Buchanan found a receptive audience to his fair trade rhetoric at his last Shreveport stop. In the past several years, the AT&T Shreveport Works plant has lost thousands of jobs to overseas competitions. Buchanan told AT&T workers Bush needs to put America first. As Buchanan left Shreveport to continue his swing through the South, he told us how crucial a win will be next Tuesday.
A lot's going to depend on Louisiana and some of the other Super Tuesday states. People are going to be looking to see if we can sustain that momentum. So if you want a Middle American Revolution in the fall, give us a hand on Tuesday. We'll keep going.
Polls open next Tuesday at 6 in the morning. Rich Masters, KSLA News 12.
Well, presidential politics around here doesn't stop there. They will inundate Shreveport and other parts of Louisiana tomorrow and again for the 2 days after that. Front-runner and near-runners are trying to bolster their support here in advance of next Tuesday's Super Tuesday primary, of course. Letting their wives do the talking in Shreveport, Hillary Clinton gets things rolling in Shreveport tomorrow with 3 stops, all planned on behalf of her husband, Bill Clinton. Mrs. Clinton will have a breakfast fundraiser at the University Club at 8 o'clock in the morning. That will be followed by a coffee at the Cambridge Club at 9:15. She will then tour the Hamilton Terrace Adult Learning Center. Now, First Lady Barbara Bush also comes to Shreveport tomorrow. She will stump for her husband, the president, at a noon luncheon at the Sheraton Piermont Ballroom. Now, President Bush himself will campaign for himself in Baton Rouge on Friday, followed by Bill Clinton talking with the Black Legislative Caucus in Baton Rouge on Saturday.
On Super Tuesday in Texas, there will be more than just presidential candidates to pick and choose from on the ballot. 2 candidates in the race for Texas Railroad Commissioner made campaign stops today in Texarkana. Democratic incumbent and commission chairperson Lena Guerrero is trying to keep the job that Governor Ann Richards appointed her to last year. On the Republican side, Carol Rylander, a member of the National Petroleum Council and former mayor of Austin. Both candidates say if elected, they'll make jobs and economic recovery their top priorities.
Thank you for being. It's the kind of leadership we're providing by developing a comprehensive energy plan for Texas, creating markets for Texas fuels like natural gas, and in the end, creating the demand will create jobs.
I've been a lifelong Texan working in the trenches. I understand paychecks and jobs, and every decision I make will be based on what does this do for paychecks and jobs for Texans.
The Texas Railroad Commission, by the way, regulates energy and transportation within the state. Might ask, transportation through parts of town may have been a little boggy this morning.
Especially the southern part of the Arklatex, some heavy rain down there. And the rain is down for the moment, but it's not out. It's coming back later on this evening with a vengeance. I'll have a complete update on that in just a minute. Right now, I've got a weather school question for you. The question dealing with weather radar. Most weather radars in use today around the United States are designed to accurately depict A, tornadoes, B, hail, C, high winds, or D, rainfall. Take your pick. I'll be back with the correct answer and an update on all the watches around the Arklatex in just a minute. Stay with us.
Tonight's Weather School has been brought to you by iMasters and Whataburger.
No place hops like Sonic.
Gee, I'm really ready for something different. I think I'll have...
We always have steak and taters, right, Pa?
Yeah, a chicken fried steak sandwich.
Taters. Don't forget tater tots, Pa.
Hey, what a great idea. Steak and taters, only $2.49.
Here's your steak and taters, Mr. Avalon.
Now, Pa, settle down.
No place hops like Sonic.
Campbell's Marine presents Mastercraft, the professional's choice. It takes a great ski boat for you to ski your best if you need room for the family or just to spread out. Mastercraft's answer is the new ProStar 205 and the new Pro Sport 205. These boats are the perfect union of family cruising and performance skiing, with the room of a bowrider and the performance and handling of a tournament ski boat. Mastercraft, available now at Campbell's Marine, downtown Shreveport. Call 221-7777.
I wanted a home with lots of glass, but I was concerned about high heating and cooling costs.
We needed a big house.
But we were on a tight budget, so monthly bills were a big concern.
I've always been environmentally conscious, and I want my home to be the same way.
For more information, call a SWEPCO residential consultant today.
Well, we have flash flood watches in effect for a good chunk of the Arklatex. This includes the western half of the Arklatex, all of East Texas, and southwestern Arkansas through tonight, as they've had some incredibly heavy rain, especially in southern and eastern Texas. Lufkin today, by noon, had already chalked up 3 inches of rain just between 7 o'clock and noon today, and that was one of the heaviest amounts reported anywhere in the United States. And Lufkin has since recorded another 3/4 of an inch of rain, putting their total just above 3.5 inches just for the last 12 hours. Down in Houston, I think you might have seen some of the incredible flooding that was shown on the CBS News just a few minutes ago. And flash flood watches continue because there is more rain coming our way. There's also a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock from just west of Lufkin on down into south central Texas. Severe thunderstorm watches extend from the extreme western edge of the Arklatex back up into Oklahoma until 10 o'clock and across much of central and western Texas and even into northern Texas until 7 p.m. But these are the 2 watches that are closest. This one extends to the west of a Mount Vernon, Winsboro, Tyler line, so it really doesn't yet include much of the Arklatex, but I think later on this evening, over the next few hours, we will see these watches moved right on over toward Texarkana and toward Shreveport. Look at the national radar picture at 6 o'clock. We've got one big area of rain that's moved through a good part of the Arklatex, still continuing though in the southern and eastern sections of our area, and these incredibly heavy thunderstorms redeveloping with golf ball size hail out in the central part of Texas, extending on up into southern Oklahoma, where they've also had reports of large hail and damaging winds with these thunderstorms. Hopefully these will decrease as they move toward the Arklatex, but I'll be keeping a close eye on them. Potential exists for some severe thunderstorms to move into our area as these approach. Let's go to Shreveport radar real quick right now, see how the showers look. Nothing showing up, well, just starting to show up some of those to the northeast of Dallas on the Shreveport radar. That's the new area coming our way. The old area has just about stalled out. It's inching off to the east at about 15 miles an hour, and it looks like Minden should just be getting out of that rain area, but rain continues solidly from Natchitoches up toward Ruston, moving to the northeast at about 15 miles an hour. I think we've got an updated Stephenville, Texas weather radar. Sure do. Here's the line of thunderstorms now. Here's Lufkin, Shreveport, right off the edge of the map there. This is the line of new thunderstorms. Here's Dallas, Waco, Austin, the line extending just to the west of Dallas, Waco, and Austin, and it's moving to the east at about 35 miles an hour. Toward 10 o'clock, I think we'll see that line of thunderstorms coming on in to our part of the country. Okay, today in Shreveport, March the 4th, we had a low of 59, a high of 63, normals 43 and 65, records 22 and 86 for this date. Right now in Shreveport, We have cloudy skies at 6 o'clock with the temperature in there at 61 degrees. The rain from our parking lot a little bit earlier today, 87% humidity, southeast winds at 10, and the barometer is on the rise at 29.76 inches of mercury. Okay, on the loop of the satellite photos right now, you can see there's a low pressure system up to our northwest and a front triggering those new thunderstorms in central Texas. Here's the old batch of showers going away from us, but there will be more in the next few hours. Here's my 3-day forecast. Starting with Thursday, look for, well, for Thursday, there it is, partly cloudy skies, 57 the low, 75 for the high. South winds at 14 miles an hour, rain chances 40%. Friday, partly cloudy, 53 and 77, just a 20% chance for showers, so not an all-day rain coming back anytime soon. Saturday, partly cloudy with a 30% chance for showers and thunderstorms. Sunday, partly cloudy, a good chance of a thunderstorm, a high near 80. Monday, partly cloudy, and the chance of showers still there with a high of 77. Turning a little colder toward the middle of next week, but those rain chances with us each and every day just about. Okay, the Weather School answer, and I hope you all knew this one from watching KSLA News 12 right here. Radars are designed to detect rainfall, only rainfall, tornadoes and hail and high winds. Sometimes we can infer those things from the radar, but they are set up. The equations that govern radar are for rainfall.
Great. Thank you, Mike.
Coming up next, Bob Griffin and sports. People ask, what impact will the Arkansas Razorbacks have on the SEC basketball world?
Well, I can tell you what impact they had last night. They had one whale of a basketball game. Arkansas had a win thanks to Lena Guerrero.
He's an ex-con, an ex-addict, and some say Pastor Phil is destroying the families of his faithful. Watch Inside Edition.
Tonight at 6:30 after KSLA News 12.
Honest, incorruptible. Judge Paul Banner, the judge who presides in public corruption cases. Former prosecutor, church-going family man. Judge Paul Banner, running for Texas Supreme Court against Jack Hightower, candidate of the powerful Austin lobby. This Hightower takes contributions from the lobby. He's accused of ethics violations. If Judge Banner wins, the lobby and Hightower will lose. Judge Paul Banner, independence and integrity for the Texas Supreme Court.
Have you been hurt in an accident? Are you still unable to work? Has the insurance company given you the runaround? You can change that. Call C. William Gerhardt & Associates today. Don't keep waiting for the insurance company to call you. For over 20 years, C. William Gerhardt & Associates have helped people who've been injured in an accident. The first office visit is free. We're paid no attorney's fees unless we collect for you. If you're tired of waiting and are ready for action, call C. William Gerhardt & Associates today. Call 42-LEGAL.
I think I forgot to lock the front door. Be right back. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. It's the down-home goodness of your nails. Ice cream. Guilt-free. No fat, no added sugar. Well, it's worth a try.
Tastes good?
Yarnell's guilt-free. Great taste with no fat, no added sugar, and absolutely no guilt.
Well, what a game it was last night in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The LSU Tigers were led by 15 at halftime, 51-36, looked like a walkover. The regulation game ended tied at 87-87, and then Arkansas outscored LSU in the overtime 19-5, and they went on to win 106-92. Now you can bet they're going to be talking about last night's game for a long, long time, and Barry was there and has this report.
LSU shocked everyone watching with perhaps its best half of basketball in the Shaquille O'Neal era. Not only was the big guy dominant, but his teammates hit 57% of their shots from the floor in building a 51-36 lead.
Not one time did we panic or let the crowd get to us. In the first half, we were better than they were, which shows a big improvement for us. So we had a championship right there.
But Nolan Richardson's fiery halftime speech lit a fire in Lee Mayberry's game. The senior guard hit a school record 9 3-pointers as the Hogs came all the way back. Meanwhile, Arkansas held the Shack without a basket the final 17 minutes until the Tiger center had a chance to win it in regulation. A no call on the play meant OT.
Either they made a great defensive play or...
And from there, Todd Day took advantage of the weary Tigers, giving Richardson's first class of recruits a shot at winning 4 straight conference championships.
Warren Lynn, Todd Day,
Oliver Miller, Lee Mayberry, and Darrell Hawkins. They were the catalysts on the floor. That was basically my freshman class.
Reporting from Fayetteville, Barry Hill, KSLA News 12 Sports.
And they'll be talking about that final shot attempt by Shaquille for a long, long time. Well, the Booker T. Lady Washington Lions will be going for their 4th straight state championship Friday night at Alexandria, with Mary Morning leading the way with 26 points. As seen here, the Lady Lions blasted East Ascension 72-31 in their Sweet 16 semifinal game last night. Now, it'll be an all North Louisiana Shreveport Bossier matchup in the 5A finals Friday night. Booker T versus Cross River rivals, the Airline Lady Vikings. Now, the Lady Vikings, thanks to plays like this one by Mary Lowry, number 21, beat Denham Springs 50-30 in their semifinal game. Leading the way for the Lady Vikes' 29th victory with 7 defeats was Angela Atkinson, number 5, who had 22 points. While the Lady Lions have won 3 state titles in a row, the Lady Vikings are looking for their first ever. Now, Airline led 29-8 at halftime, and while they were pleased with their play during the first half, they weren't so happy with the second half.
I would have felt better probably with a smaller lead, and you know, we really took some bad shots in the second half, but you know, I guess we did what we had to do to hold on and win.
I think the first half went pretty good for our team. We did everything we were supposed to do. We got real aggressive and played our hearts out. Then our second half, I think we kind of let up. We kind of did some stupid mistakes like fouling inside, you know, about little cheap fouls like pushing on them and stuff like that. But I think we did overall pretty good.
Now tonight at 10 o'clock, the Booker T. Lady Lions talk about their semifinal victory. In boys Louisiana State playoffs, Southwood is still in, but Huntington, beaten by Ruston, is out. Next up for the Southwood Cowboys, Catholic of Baton Rouge, Friday night. Among the other area teams still in the running, North DeSoto, Manny, and Grambling. Next up for Ruston, by the way, in the quarterfinals is Bonneville, and like we said, they'll be talking about that Arkansas-LSU game for a long time. Depends on who you're for, whether it was a good call or a bad call. I have nothing to say. That's sports.
It was absolutely no call at all. Thanks, Bob. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap things up. Stay with us.
He's an ex-con, an ex-addict, and some say Pastor Phil is destroying the families of his faithful. Watch Inside Edition.
Tonight at 6:30 after KSLA News 12.
At Brookshire's, we work very hard to give you more meat for your money. So we only offer you the leanest, tenderest, juiciest meat we can find at prices that are cut to the bone. And then we add more, a special ingredient that's ours alone. Our people, who always want to make sure you get a better value, faster service, and bigger smiles. So when you really want to get to the meat of the matter, just remember Brookshire's.
Attention Arclatex. While they lasted, Roundtree special purchase on program cards priced to save you thousands. 91 Olds Calais with automatic air, AM/FM stereo, and much more. $89.88. 91 Old Sierra with automatic air, stereo sound, lots of extras. $10,988. 91 Cadillacs at Amityville, loaded with options. $19,988. But you must buy now. Supply is limited. Hurry. Special purchase priced to save you thousands. While they last at Roundtree Olds Cadillac Auto Mall, Shreveport.
If we can change the world, we can change America.
Perhaps no president in our history has shown the world such strong leadership. Now he has an agenda to strengthen our economy and make America more competitive in the world, to change welfare and make the able-bodied work, end fraudulent lawsuits that destroy businesses and drive up insurance rates, rebuild our education system so it demands responsibility and results. President Bush, the future of America in the hands of experience.
Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock on KSLA News 12, we'll tell you about a high-tech illness that is threatening to strike computer systems this coming Friday. It's called the Michelangelo virus, and it could destroy all the data in an infected computer. Now, how do you protect your computer against the disease? You practice something called safe computing, and we'll tell you how to do that tonight at 10.
Many businessmen and women went back to the classroom today to tell some Caddo and Bossier Parish students about their professions. The 9th annual Career Day started today at LSU-Shreveport, and our own reporter Mimi Page talked with students about the business of broadcasting. 3,200 high school juniors are learning about almost 50 different professions. The Shreveport and Bossier City Chambers of Commerce sponsor the event, which continues tomorrow. Let's check in once again quickly with Mike Pass.
Well, there's no alarming weather out there right now. Just keep tuned to Channel 12. I'll keep those crawls going if anything dangerous develops.
Thanks.
Final word in sports, Bob?
All the latest scores.
That and more tonight at 10. Join us then. For now, you're up to date.
Good night.
Good night.